Welcome, guys. Welcome to Incrementum. You came out for live theater. Yes! Woo! I love it. There's a million things going on. You could be elsewhere, but you're here supporting us. We appreciate it. We did this last year. Hopefully we'll do it again. These are several scripts written by MFA students and one by Jonathan Nance. He's kind of a friend of the program. And they're performed by undergraduates. So, yeah, you guys took the mantle and ran with this. They're going to be read like a radio drama. My bet is that like a good script or like, one that's on its way, just reading with friends, you can like entertain yourself in the living room doing this. You don't need the fancy Lion King costumes or like Wicked, like someone flying, that's great, but it's $400 a ticket. Like, this would be entertaining. And this is Incrementum. All these plays are in process. So some written by first-time playwrights. I did this last year. If you are a playwright, could you raise your hand really quick? I just want one of those who wrote a play. Thank you, John. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Noelle. Thank you, Jonathan. One guy's in Oklahoma, so he's not here. You're going to get to meet them afterwards. There's a little reception. There's some coffee and some snacks. Thank you to LA Sensing for that. But if you see something and you're curious or you like something, react, laugh, give them something, and go talk to them afterwards. Give them some feedback. You're here to kind of like test run their script and see how it goes. All right. So, last thing I want to do, there's 4 comedies tonight. They're all kind of, comedic plays. I want to start, and I might bomb, I don't know. I want to do one stand-up joke, and then I'm out of here. There's a couple comedies. So I'll try. I embarrass myself. And there's a point to it. So, here's my joke. It's kind of for the math and science types, in math and science. There's an engineer, a physicist, and a mathematician in a laboratory. Fire breaks out. Place is going up in flames. They divide the fire into 3 sections. They're all going to tackle it. Engineer, because that's like a neat division of labor, So the engineer gets an extinguisher, and he goes to like his side of the fire, just sprays everywhere, just sprays the room. He gets it out and makes a mess, and everything's soaked. And he's like, fire's out. The physicist is like, oh, what a waste. He goes to part of the fire, and he measures it. Like, how tall is it up? Like, how high is it? Like, how fast is it spreading? He measures, like, the air humidity. He writes some equations on the board, takes a fire extinguisher, sprays just enough to put it out, and there's no drop left over. He's like, yeah, physicist, that's what I do. Mathematician, he makes like the physicist. He measures the fire, how big it is, how fast it's spreading. He writes something on the board. Soon the whole board is like full of calculus, right? The fire's like engulfing the room, and they're waiting on him, like, what are you gonna do? And he turns and he goes, it can be done. There you go. And there's a point to this, because writing a play, writing a script for the first time, you're the mathematician. You're like, I see it in its perfection, in its symmetry, I've got this whole thing charted out, and you think you're gonna be the physicist. You think it's gonna land and be perfect, nothing left over, but at the very least, hopefully you're the engineer. Like, it's your baby, you hand it off, there's actors like, these were written several months ago, given to directors, and here they are for the test run. So that's what you're supporting, people trying it out. And with that, with no further ado, Incrementum.
Raiders of the Lost Crusade, written by Jonathan Nance, directed by Simon Friedel. Characters: Jaden, read by Jack Whitaker; Sir Robert, read by Eston Berglund; Rhonda Verdun, read by Carly Kelly; Chutzeki, read by Jeremy Abeg; and Zing, read by Ian Anderson. Setting: 21st century, in the heart of Egypt. Scene start: the 5 of them walking towards a stone archway in the side of an Egyptian pyramid, leading to a passageway within.
Well, gentlemen, and Rhonda, that's the entrance to the tomb there.
Don't address me as Rhonda, Jaden. It's Miss Verdun, to you.
Sure thing, Rhonda. What do you think, Chutzeki? Seem familiar to you?
No. Aztec tomb, not like Egyptian. Not like at all, not familiar.
Oh, it's not? So you only know how to rate Aztec tombs?
Yes, Aztec and Egyptian, very different.
Well, I'm overjoyed that my private secretary has chosen such a competent field guide to assist us in this mission.
Yeah. I'm just glad you're the one funding this tomb thing and not me.
Yes, and I, Sir Robert the Mighty, am glad that we can collect a sacred relic for the glory of the Holy Roman Empire and continue the Great Crusade.
And then there's that wacko.
I may just fire my secretary.
Let's just go in.
Charge, Deus Vult, for the Emperor, or Lord, or whomever Sir Monarch grants headship of our realm.
The five of them enter the tomb with torches in hand and begin to walk through a series of stone hallways.
Brilliant. This drab stone might damage my Rita Hayworth shoes.
Well, good thing I'm used to working in the dark, although it's usually the muskiness of a server room and not that of decomposing pharaohs.
I say, this devilish murk. Chief, choose. How doth these tunnels compare to that of your native Aztec tombs?
Aye, not at all. Not at all. Aztec, not Egypt. Very different.
I feel that this crusade shall no doubt mimic the others.
Zhang, you haven't spoken much. What do you think of this place?
Do not strive for more than the world given, for in doing so you strive to condemn the universe.
Oh, dear Lord.
Wait a bit now. Look, there's something ahead. It looks a little dangerous. Is that...
Ah, Egypt arrow trap.
Arrow launchers with stepping traps, just as if I returned to the siege of Belgrade.
Oh, Sir Robert, you've seen these before.
Aye, my lady, at the siege of Belgrade.
So you know how to get past them?
No, we've lost that siege.
Well, Shudseki, how would your, tomb raiding expertise dictate we continue on next?
Me not know. This not Aztec. This Egypt.
Well, you're useful. Zhang?
Look inside, and you will find your true self.
You're doomed.
Shudseki, there must be some degree of similarity between Aztec and Egyptian arrow traps. Use your tiny, uncivilized brain.
No, not same. Very different.
Well, Rhonda, it might be one of those things where the two seem similar, but in reality turn out to be entirely incompatible. Like Windows versus Mac.
It's not Rhonda, it's Miss Verdun.
Ah, yes, Rhonda. Just like a mangonel faced against the glorious might of the French trebuchet.
Yes, Rhonda, as the splendor of the mind versus the opulence of the soul.
Okay. Everdress versus Lucia Maltas. My point is that somebody has to have some idea how to get through this arrow-ridden hallway so I can get my idol from the bloody treasure room.
No, not your idol.
The grand relic does not belong to any one man, but the glory of an empire museum.
Well, my firm is paying for this expedition, so technically speaking, it would be accurate to say that the idol belongs to me until sold to a museum.
The distribution of gold is returned to us fivefold, or less, if one or more of our party perishes in the midst of this crusade.
The things of this earth belong not to men, but men to the earth.
Duck!
Pardon?
Just while you guys were arguing like four anachronistic tomb raiders, I just popped out my phone and Googled Egyptian arrow traps, and this interesting thread on Reddit says that they always aim too high.
Reddit? Is that like Red Cross?
That crystal ball say duck?
Yes, just duck beneath the arrow traps. Keep your heads low and, yeah, I'll go first.
The five of them move through the hallway, crouched low and flinching as each arrow shoots over them. As they make it to the end of the dangerous hallway, they take a turn and continue deeper into the tomb.
Well achieved, my good man.
Yes, well done, Jaden. I say, having a satellite connection to Google will help this mission immensely.
Thanks, that seemed to work great. Nothing to worry about. And my phone just died. Out of battery.
Typical.
I spy another danger ahead.
Oh, wonderful.
Let me guess. It's some challenge you've seen before in the siege of Timbuktu, but have not a clue how to best it.
That is right, my lady. But not Timbuktu. Antioch.
Wow, this doesn't look safe at all. Let's get closer.
The five of them approach a foggy abyss with the beginning of a narrow rocky path leading down into the fog that appears to lack any railings or handholds. Distant torches on the far side of the chasm reveal the end of the rocky path leading up to safety.
So, let me guess. One step off the path leads to a sudden drop to our death.
And once we step into the fog, we won't be able to see each other. Or anything else, like the path, or our personal shortcomings.
Indeed, such is the danger that befell the ramparts of Antioch.
Shutseki, any tips on how to get over this gap safely?
No. This Egyptian fog, not Aztec. I know.
Great. Zhang, what about you?
The path is clear to those who believe.
Okay.
I say we charge through the fog and leave those who fall to their unholy fate, just like we did.
Yes, the siege of Antioch, which, I'm guessing, you lost.
For redemption and revenge.
No, Robert, wait!
Sir Robert charges blindly into the fog and nearly runs immediately off the path into the abyss, but the four of them manage to grab on and pull him back to solid ground.
Wow, that was close.
If fall, no get back up.
Sir Robert, you can't just charge into everything with a prayer. You keep trying the same thing and expecting a different result. There's a word for that.
A crusade?
Well, if there is no action, there is no progress.
Let the steadiness of the feet be due to the calmness of the mind.
Wow, are we writing a commonplace book? How about less mantras and more planning how to...
No, wait. I think Zhang might actually, probably, maybe have an idea for once.
Zhang, have you a solution?
Focus your minds on those who have gone before.
Zhang closes his eyes and begins a meditative chant, stepping forward onto the misty path.
Zang.
Okay, I guess we're following him. Stay close.
I hate to put this much trust in a human bumblebee, but okay.
The five of them enter the mist and slowly follow the winding path, close behind the sound of Zhang. Eventually, they reach the end of the path, walking up to the torchlit far side and look back at the chasm that they crossed.
Good. We not fall off path.
Yeah, well, I think we got lucky.
It appears we just needed to go at a snail's pace, which, by the way, would have been sufficient without all the annoying sounds of a broken Zen record.
Despite the bicker, another task is complete. Shall we charge on, gentlemen?
You seem quite excited that your quest has made it this far without failing.
I hope Idol is coming soon.
Now that I think we can all agree on. It should fetch a good price.
So, Zhang, I'm kind of curious. Are you even going to do anything with your share of the reward?
Material gains detach us from the spiritual.
Yeah, but you're still going to accept it, right?
The meek shall inherit the earth, including my share.
Right, okay. What about you, Chud?
I get myself new sacrificial knife. Mine is too bloody now.
That's weird, but not unexpected. Sir Robert, what about you?
I'd like to get one of those magical items that Jaden has told me of. An Arc of X.
Say again?
It's a device that lets you live out fictional crusades within your own abode.
Arc of X?
He means an Xbox. What about you, Rhonda?
It's Miss... whatever. My reward is channeled through my investment team to fund either my yacht, my beach house in the Bahamas, or go towards the 2022 Cosmopolitan Fashion Gala.
Oh, wow. Well, I was going to use mine to buy a lifetime supply of Pop-Tarts, but I think I might change my mind.
Behold, yet another barrier crossing the path ahead.
Oh, interesting. It looks like some sort of fence. Shutseki, any ideas what that is?
Ah, yes, an ancient Egyptian electric fence. Do not touch.
Egyptian fence of lightning? Have you experience with these?
No. Aztec electric fence, very different.
Brilliant. Jaden, you have experience with electronics. Can you bypass it?
Not really. I work with computers. I know how to disassemble an ATX hardwired motherboard, but that's hardly a transferable skill to something like this.
Oh, come on. It's electricity. The other guys here don't even know that electricity exists. At least take a look at it.
Okay, fine. After an extensive scouting expedition, I have come to the conclusion that it's a fence.
Can you disconnect it from the electrical source?
No, it goes into the wall, plus it's grounded on the other side with what I assume is some sort of ancient Egyptian wire routing.
The energy of the conscience runs deeper than all the universe.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the electricity of this fence still has the power to fry your conscience into Zen toast.
Is there any way to get around this? Or maybe get over it without touching it somehow?
Gentlemen, and Rhonda, allow me the honor.
Wait!
Sir Robert draws his sword from his sheath and slashes a gash in the middle of the fence. It sputters a rain of sparks and dies, allowing all to pass through.
Aye, good plan.
How did that work? Isn't your sword made of metal?
No, my metal sword was lost in the Battle of Arsuf. This is simply a wooden replacement that they bequeathed unto me. As punishment. For losing my sword. At the Battle of Arsuf.
Oh, that's weird, but lucky. Which kind of describes this expedition as a whole.
We are a step nearer our final goal.
I still have bad feeling.
Yeah, I have it too. You know how this whole series of trials mission thing usually works in the movies?
I do not.
Oh, right. Well, I bet the obstacles will get harder the closer we get.
Oh, wonderful.
And I do believe I spy that harder obstacle ahead, as you predicted.
Oh wow, that was quick. What do you see?
Something evil.
What is that? It looks like a large floating hologram of ink. And it's glowing?
Ah, yes, Egyptian quantum black hole gate. Very dangerous, no touch.
What now?
Black hole gate? Curses! I decide not to hire the 23rd century particle physicist for this job because I didn't think we'd need him.
Curses? Doth it require an exorcism?
There is no evil in material things, purely within those who devised them.
Before you ask, Rhonda, no, this is nothing like a circuit board.
Shutseki, I yet again hesitate to ask, but do you have any experience with this form of trap?
Yes, Rhonda, of course. Egyptian quantum black hole gates are just like Aztec ones.
It's not Rhonda, it's Miss Wait, what?
Wow, what? You actually know something? That's a surprise.
Ancient Aztec codex has much chapter on quantum physics.
Grand! So how doth your knowledge assist us in passing such a trial?
The computation equation of electrons enter a harmonic oscillation that counteracts the speed of soul against proton mass.
So...
A brilliant deduction! We must overload the oscillation.
What?
Sir Robert picks up some rocks from a partially crumbled wall on the side of the hallway and pitches them into the black hole. With a whoosh, the rocks disappear.
Yes, the rock into gate!
Oh, you could have just said that.
The other four join in, picking up stones from the ground and throwing them in, until slowly the black hole recedes into nothingness, leaving the gate open.
The way is clear.
If only we could throw rocks to solve all our problems.
They walk through into a large open chamber. An elevated platform stands in the center of the room, and in the center of the platform sit 3 pedestals.
And we have achieved the final obstacle.
Is this the throne room?
Yeah, look over there. Idols. Multiple idols. Wait.
Relics! 3 relics! I thought our crusade held just 1.
Ah, yes, a common Egypt false idol trap. No touch wrong idol.
Oh. So we need to figure out which is the real one. Why not just take all 3?
Let not the greed of material things distract you from the spiritual.
No. Touch wrong idol and summon lava trap.
Great! Lava will undoubtedly ruin my Rose Tiffany's.
Yes, well, lava does have that effect. Shall we take a closer look at the idols?
Each of the 3 pedestals in the center of the room holds an identical golden idol. The 5 walk up and inspect each in turn.
I declare that they are all the same.
No, they're not. Look at the sheen on this one on the right. Definitely not real gold.
Oh. I don't know my gold sheens.
Real idol not have fake gold.
And this one on the left. Look at the emerald on top. It looks as if it has false inclusions in the glimmer.
Doth it? I see nothing special.
Yeah, look right here.
Rhonda pokes the idol on the left, accidentally knocking it off the pedestal.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
I feel a disturbance.
As they look back on the way they came, a section of ceiling above the path opens up and lava starts pouring out, cascading like a waterfall, cutting them off from their exit. The lava drains into pools on the sides of the room, filling up and threatening to overflow onto the platform.
Uh-oh, that's not Aztec lava, that's Egypt lava.
I assume that's the only exit? I guess it has to be for dramatic effect.
Ah, yes, just like the Battle of Demetrius.
Demetrius was a naval battle.
Yes, the battle had water instead of lava.
Well, I'll go grab that middle idol. You guys find a way out.
Okay, we have plenty of time to make a plan.
Time is an illusion.
Yes, time right now, quickly. Lava-filling cavern.
Okay, fine, we have some time to make a plan.
I vote we charge through and let God spares who he will.
It's not water, it's lava.
Okay, well, based on what I've learned so far from this mission, I know what we shouldn't do. We shouldn't go too fast, Sir Robert. We shouldn't go too slow, Zing. We shouldn't just give up, Shidzeki. And we shouldn't just complain, Rhonda. How's that sound?
Dude, chill.
Sorry, but I find the threat of imminent death slightly stressful.
Shall we make a plan then?
Robert, your armor lava-proof?
It is not, as I learned in the Battle of Constantinople.
Well, it could resist the lava for a brief moment at least. I bet you could rush through the lava fall uninjured.
Yeah, but how would that help the rest of us?
Purity of soul shall be our guard and shield.
I'm fairly confident that that won't be enough. We need to hurry, it's flowing fast.
Shield! Robert has shield!
Yeah, Zhang mentioned a shield. Robert, I bet that shield of yours is lava-proof.
Ah, yes, my sword may be that of wood, but my shield is the finest of steel.
Brilliant. I reckon if we huddle, we can all fit underneath like an umbrella.
I like plan.
Let us commence.
As Sir Robert holds up his shield, the five of them crouch beneath it and rush through the lava flow, returning back into the hallway unscathed.
Wow, we did it. We have the capability of teamwork.
Somehow the five of us managed to do something together.
Solidarity of a soul blesses no man.
We leave tomb now.
The five of them return back through the tunnel, returning to the entrance again.
Well, despite how much I thought I would hate you all, it's been a pleasure. Shidzeki, you ended up being slightly useful after all. Rhonda, sorry, Mr.
No, it's okay. Just call me Rhonda.
All right, Rhonda. Your funding turned out to be a fruitful investment. Zhang, I hope this gave you some sort of inner peace.
Zang.
I'll take that as a yes.
I'll return to the native haunted tombs of Azteca.
And I, Sir Robert, give a most gracious thanks to you all, for I have, in the foremost of honors, finally completed a crusade. Deus Vult!
End of play. The Real Simon, written by Noelle McEachran, directed by Jake Hughes. Characters: Simeon, read by Nate Miller; Sean, read by Jake Hughes; Chloe, read by Abby Farley; and Sydney, read by Isabel Pliego. A small, disheveled apartment, bachelor pad feel. Simon, 20-something, is looking at a computer screen with a picture of an advertisement for a life coach. The slogan reads, "Find your best life now." Simon, glancing at the number on the screen, picks up his phone and dials. Sean, 20-something, Simon's roommate, is sitting on a couch behind Simon playing video games.
Take that!
Simon pushes an end call on his phone.
Sean, I'm trying to make a call. I just got 3 new lives. Have you been sitting there in that same spot all day? You do know it's past lunchtime, right? I finally got to level 9. Took me about 9 straight hours, but worth it. Hey, while you're here, I was gonna ask, do you want to do an Elite Dangerous Marathon this weekend? No, Sean, I do not. Why not? Well, I'm hoping to have plans this weekend. Don't you think that a 24-year-old man should have plans on a Friday night? Plans? Is that a trick question? An Elite Dangerous Marathon is plans. Oh, are you taking your sister to her dance class? Taking my special needs sister to her dance class is not plans either. What it is a problem. She can't help it if she has special needs. No, it's not like that. I love my sister, and my mom needs help with taking care of her. But how lame are my Friday nights? Just stay at the class and dance with her this time. Then it counts as plans. No, I won't dance with her either. I hate dancing. The thing is, I don't want my life to end up stuck in this bachelor video game trap. I don't want my life to end up like yours. No offense.
None taken. I wouldn't want to end up like me either. So, what are these plans you're wanting to have this weekend?
Well, there's this girl. She's been visiting my photography exhibit.
A girl? Whoa, bro. Did you ask her out?
Of course not. Why not?
Dude, there are wives on level 9.
Sean, you know why? I can't talk to girls. I've never been able to talk with girls. I'm way too self-conscious. I keep trying to work up the nerve and then start looking at my shoes.
Simon looks at Sean, but Sean is too distracted to give an answer.
And then she's kind of a chatty girl, which is the hardest kind. She talks constantly.
No, the wives don't talk. I think they just feed you porridge.
I'm not talking about your lame video game wife.
Sorry. So, how are you gonna fix this problem?
I've been seeing a life coach.
A life coach, huh? Well, what did she say?
I asked her how I could summon the nerve to talk to a girl. She told me to believe in myself and look inside myself and find my inner strength. That I'm magical and accepted, and that I should never apologize for who I am.
And maybe I'm missing something here, but how's that gonna help you talk to a girl?
Because, Sean, there are things I can say to a girl. I have plenty of things to say. For example, I wrote down 3 ideas. First, I will tell her a funny story about a guy named Mike.
A guy named Mike?
Yeah. And then I will tell her an interesting fact. I know tons of stuff about lizards.
Lizards.
They're part of the reptile class in Phylum Chordata. And finally, I will pay her a compliment. Girls like compliments about her shoes or something.
You said this girl talks a lot?
Yes.
Well, if she talks a lot, why don't you just, listen to her? Listening is your biggest strength anyway. You don't need a life coach, bro. You're not a bad guy when you stop trying so hard.
No, that won't work. That's never worked, and it won't work now. It has to be different this time. I need to be a new Simon. A totally different, cool, interesting, funny Simon. I just need to find the new me. Like my life coach said, I need to live my truth.
A photography booth at a farmer's market. Simon is standing at the booth and sees 2 girls approaching.
Brave, empowered, confident.
See, this is the photograph I was telling you about. Isn't it magical? I feel like the guy who could take a picture like this must see the world differently than everyone else. Do you know the girl in this picture?
It's my sister.
Did you take that picture?
Of course he took it. It says Simon's photography right there.
But he might not be Simon.
True. He might be an imposter. Are you the real Simon or a fake?
That's not exactly what I meant. You could be filling in for Simon or something.
I'm Simon.
And I believe you. After all, there's way too much cynicism in the world these days. Besides, Simon and I go way back.
But you told me you had never actually met him before.
Well, no, not exactly. But once I asked him what time it was, and he looked like he wanted to tell me.
And how did this gripping story end?
Well, I realized I was holding my phone, so I looked at it.
Oh, clever girl.
I know, right? So that solved the problem. All the loose ends were nicely wrapped up. But on another occasion, I told him all about my little sister. You know how sometimes I go on and on about my sister?
Darling, I love you, but you go on and on about everything.
And then I asked him if he had a sister, and he almost answered me. But then I had to go. The good old days, right?
Yes. No. I mean, I know a funny story about a guy named Mike.
That must be so nice for you. It probably keeps you entertained on those long winter nights.
I had a friend who studied photography in college, and she was always talking about aperture, whatever that is. Are you always talking about aperture?
Well, there's a lot you have to know to be a photographer. Not just any dummy can do it. It's not just point and shoot. It takes skill and know-how. But I haven't done too badly. Lots of people say so. But yeah, aperture's important.
But aside from all that, don't you think the most important thing about being a photographer is listening to other people?
Chloe, he's a photographer, not a counselor.
But when your client tells you what they want, you have to have good listening skills, right?
Well, I suppose that's sometimes true.
See, I knew Simon would take my side. Besides, my friend Courtney is a photographer, and she has great listening skills, which proves it.
Would you like to hear an interesting fact about reptiles belonging to the class in phylum Chordata? Also more commonly known as the...
That doesn't prove anything. Just because she's a listener and a good photographer, that's like saying someone's a good dancer because they have freckles.
That doesn't even make sense. My little sister has freckles and she hates dancing.
I like your shoes.
Thanks! Are you free on Saturday night?
Yes! I mean, of course. I mean, what did you have in mind? We could go to a...
Perfect! You can take this dance ticket for me!
I mean, couldn't we go to the dance? You and I could... I mean, that is...
Sorry, I can't. My aunt's funeral. I just wish my great aunt could have waited 2 days before dying. But I suppose she couldn't help it, the poor dear.
But you go dancing every weekend. Why is it such a big deal to miss one?
I need it this time after the thing with the IRS guy. It's an emergency swing dance for me personally. Don't you find dancing therapeutic? I do too. See, what happened is I messed up some dumb thing with my taxes. If some guy would kick an IRS man for me, I would probably marry him on the spot. What are your views on IRS guys?
They're... lame.
Very good. That is the correct answer. And you thought of it all by yourself, which proves that you are worthy of taking my dance ticket.
Thanks.
You are very welcome. And bonus, I won't even charge you. Not that it costs all that much, but I've been working on being a more generous person. I try to do one nice thing every day. I know you'll have a blast because I always do. It really does feel good to spread kindness around the world.
But I don't think I can go to that. What am I supposed to do with this?
That is entirely up to you. Just let those creative juices flow on the dance floor. It's good for your mental health. I read that once. Or was it outdoor exercise? I know, you can take your sister.
Well, listen, I keep trying to tell you, and you won't listen, and you keep talking, and there's no getting a word in. I don't like dancing, all right? I hate it. I've always hated it. Oh, forget it. Forget the whole thing. Forget about my friend named Mike and the lizards and all of it, all right?
Lizards?
Maybe the lizards are symbolic for him? They represent something from his childhood?
But lizards.
I still hope you have fun at the dance class. It was nice knowing you, Simon. I had thought you were different. A nice, shy guy. I've always liked shy guys. They make good listeners. But don't worry, I won't ever bother you again.
But
Chloe and Sydney exit. Simon is left holding the dance ticket. He puts his head in his hands. End of play. Year of the Superfluous Mountain Goat by Curtis Miller and John Rimmer, based on the meaning of Sirrah, an essay by John Rimmer, directed by Louisa Miller. Characters: John, read by Jeremy Abegg, and John's wife, read by Abigail Alexander. Scene 1, late evening. John sits at a desk, pecking on a keyboard. He's in a large broom closet pretending to be in an office. It's lit by a hanging light bulb. All around we see shelves filled with tools, paint cans, and cleaning supplies. The small desk is piled high with books and plumbing parts. Behind him, there's a whiteboard covered in to-do lists. Rain slowly drums the window, almost in sync with John's typing. The pecking slows, then stops. John rubs his eyes. He sees the audience, gives a half-hearted wave, and speaks directly to them.
Hey there. My brain has run out of oil.
He sighs and checks his coffee cup. It's empty.
This may be the problem.
John's phone dings. He pulls it out, checks. It's a text message. John's wife appears in a spotlight, arms crossed. She's got her phone out, and she's texting too. John and John's wife read aloud as they text.
How's the paper coming? Find an ending yet?
Coffee's run out. I think my ideas have too. How's home?
Same as always. Crazy face.
Thanks for letting me get away. Should have brought you with me. It's nice and quiet here. Kids would have been fine without us. Winking, kissing face.
Rolling eyes. You've got work to do. Focus, Daddy-O.
Be home soon.
John puts the phone down, spins around in his chair.
It's easier to write here at the church. Quiet, especially on weeknights like this one. A lot quieter than home. My 5 kids are a crazy circus, and my wife says I'm the ringleader.
John's phone dings.
Your sons turned the living room into a Ninja Warrior course. Laughing face, pray for me.
Praying hands.
John sets his phone down.
She's 9 months pregnant with number 6, by the way. I think she was due a week ago, just like this paper. It's for school, where I'm pretending to be a writer. Nights like this, I wonder why they let me in. Maybe I should just stick to changing light bulbs.
John stretches back and hits the pull string to the light bulb hanging overhead, causing it to swing.
I'm the janitor at this church. I think the technical term is sexton, but that sounds weird to tell people. I sometimes use overseer eventually. It's a dumb way to say that I fix all the broken stuff that the pastors can't. They handle the people, I handle the steeple.
John swings around in his chair, pointing at the whiteboard with his to-do list before coming back around to the computer. He picks up his phone.
There's something else I've been working on.
He begins a text message.
Baby names, round 32. Abinoam, Abigail, Abishag. I like Abishag. It's Hebrew for electric blanket baby. Thoughts?
He turns to the audience.
Wait for it.
John's wife's phone dings. She texts back.
Abishag. No way. What are you even doing right now? Where do you get these names from? Laughing face.
Read your Bible, woman!
Laughing face. Stop goofing off and get to work.
They put their phones down.
This probably wouldn't be that big of a deal if I hadn't made such a big deal out of naming the last 5 kids. It basically comes down to this. If I had to sum up this past year in a name, what would it be? That's how I came up with the other names. Theophories, usually. Names that say something about God, like timestamps, what he was up to with us at the time. Here, I'll give you an example.
John stands near the whiteboard and wipes off a section. He picks up a marker and proceeds to explain this process through pictures.
We had our 4th son the year we bought our first home. I thought it'd be great to name him after the guy that designed God's first house. So we get Bezalel. My wife said a name like that would get him beat up one day. So I stuck Christian in front of it. Christian Bezalel. A reminder that we are pilgrims here and shouldn't get too comfortably settled in. Plus, I like John Bunyan. Any of this making sense? If you had to sum up your year in a word, what would you use?
John takes a moment, eyeing the piles, stacks of books and to-do lists.
Overwhelming is the one I've been rolling around. I've got way too much on my plate right now. Just look around. This place is turtles standing on turtles. Projects everywhere, but at least stuff kind of gets done here. You should see my office at home. It isn't so much a place where work gets done, it's more a place where work congregates, accumulating in massive judgmental piles that glower at you. It's got bookshelves on one side, full of books that I haven't but hope to one day read. There's a credenza on the other side, and it's covered in stacks of more unread books. Books everywhere. And then there's the boxes. Piles of boxes filling 3 corners of the room, shipped from the 4 corners of the globe, full of car parts. Parts for my Jeep, which I outgrew 2 kids ago, but I've still got for some reason. There's parts for our minivan, which I bought from a farmer when our 4th kid was being born, and I've been rebuilding ever since. And then there's the Montario. Long story short, we're going to outgrow all of these cards any moment now with kid number 6. The 4th corner of the room is reserved for the parts for a future school bus.
John picks up his phone and empty coffee cup and walks over to a Keurig machine.
Jim Gaffigan, the comedian, he's got this bit about what it's like having your 4th kid. He says it's like you're drowning, and then someone hands you a baby. You know, she'll like that clip. Let me see if I can find it.
John texts.
Remember this? I was just telling them about it. So good.
He plays with the Keurig machine.
Coffee?
John holds a cup out to the audience.
It's horrible. Don't drink it unless you absolutely have to.
John's phone dings.
Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face. Get to work.
John fills a cup. John's phone dings again.
And who is them?
They're my imaginary audience. They're helping me write my paper.
You're starting to lose your mind. Get some coffee.
John holds his freshly filled cup up to the audience with a smile. He walks back to his desk and sits down.
Do you know what superfluous means? Unnecessary excess? Of course you do. Anyways, there's this bit in the book of Genesis that's like the Gaffigan bit. It goes something like this. Hello there. I'd like to introduce you to my daughter, Sarah. We named her after those leftover wood dowels you have after you finish putting together your IKEA furniture. Now, no dad in his right mind does that. But then comes Asher, one of Jacob's 12 sons, saying, "Hold my wineskin." When he's handed child number 5, he figures this parenting thing has just gotten out of hand. Anything north of 4 kids is crazy. Thus, we got Sarah, the superfluous one. I can't remember how overwhelming landed me at superfluous, but I just know that my Strong's Hebrew Dictionary had something to do with it. Sarah is buried in a word soup connected to a bunch of different words that work better as images. Imagine a tablecloth stretched out and hanging over every edge, a covering that flows down over the shoulders in unnecessary splendor, or the line you'd use to draw the horizon, or a cloud stretched out so thin it's about to disappear. They're words for extension, for stretching, for excess, for extravagance. But I'm no Hebrew scholar, nor the son of one, so maybe it's just a misspelling of Sarah, which means princess. Or maybe Sarah was a little chubby, and Asher was just really bad at dad jokes. This essay isn't going to finish itself.
John scrolls up on his essay to a previously written section.
Here's a taste of what I've got so far. Here it goes.
John reads to the audience.
I've never been a good gift giver. Birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas mornings are not my best. I bought my mother a vacuum cleaner once, and didn't mean it as a joke. I thought I was going big, getting her something practical and expensive. It didn't go well. More recently, I thought it prudent to hide all my kids' Christmas presents under the guise of a burglary. We'd go on a Christmas adventure, a quest involving squirrels and talking trees. It's a long story short, but it was summed up by my oldest son as the worst Christmas ever. Every December, I ask my wife what she wants for Christmas, and every year she says, nothing. She doesn't even want a vacuum cleaner. I know, I've asked.
John
Here.
takes out his phone.
Here, I'll demonstrate. Babe, want me to get you anything on my way home? You're kind of the best wife ever, so anything you want, up to half my kingdom.
John's phone zoops.
Now, some guys would say this is not a problem.
John's phone dings.
Nope.
See what I mean? She's impossible.
John turns back to the computer and continues reading.
This past December, with my wife being pregnant, with our sixth, I really wanted to get her a perfect gift. I thought long and hard about it, and I figured, why not try a refrigerator? A big, shiny one, with one of those little water fountain attachments on the front. One big enough to hold more than a half week's worth of groceries. Big enough to feed an army of growing boys, and maybe with electric shock handles to keep them out when she's not looking. One with doors that swing open like a set of French windows to crisp blue LED lights so you can actually find stuff. Doors with unbroken plastic shells in them so the condiments don't go spinning out on the floor every time you open them. I found a few online, but wasn't sure what would fit in our little kitchen. A tape measure confirmed why the current refrigerator was so small. She might first need a bigger kitchen. And since I'm always wanting to start another project...
John looks up from his screen.
You think it's too long? It's probably too long. Well, the short version of the project is that here we are in July. You can still see into the crawl space through the kitchen floor. We gave up removing wallpaper layers once we reached the Neolithic era. There's no countertops, and the stove's taken up a useless residence in the dining room. Somehow, my wife has managed to sustain all of us by means of a coffee machine, an Instapot, and a waffle maker. Miraculously, no kids have starved, and she hasn't murdered me for not finishing the kitchen yet. And my wife still has her tiny refrigerator. Let's just add major kitchen remodel to the heap of this last year. And remember, it's all gotta fit in one word for the name game. So far, we've got all the other projects, going back to school, there's my new job, baby number 6 coming, and of course the whole COVID thing with the Dark Lord and something about the end of the world. That reminds me of somebody. Tall fellow, gray beard, goes by the name of Ian. I met him last fall in Idaho at the riding school. He's a fellow Virginian, so we bonded quickly over our shared hatred for our governor. And that reminds me of something else.
John picks up his phone to text.
We already agreed on jail, right?
John's phone dings.
For a middle name, sure, but she still needs a first name.
My wife's afraid a name like jail might get us investigated by the FBI, especially after the whole Cicero problem.
I thought you were coming home. Are you still at the church?
Yes, thinking about Ian Sic Semper Tyrannis, and how much we like camping.
Okay, but hurry up. You ramble too much. Focus. Grumpy face.
We decided on jail a long time ago. Perfect name for a girl born around an election year, especially this past one. I haven't told her it means mountain goat in Hebrew. I wonder if there's an emoji for that. Be home soon, mountain goat.
John puts his phone down.
We spent some time camping with Ian and his family last spring. I remember telling him how underwater I felt with everything, especially school. He writes books about zombies. So his words of encouragement were kind of like Ivan Drago. If you die, you die. But it kind of worked. It reminded me of this time where I fell in a pool as a kid. I didn't know how to swim yet, so it was kind of a big deal. My aunt was there, but I don't remember her trying to rescue me. She was just standing there, at the side, trying to help me realize I hadn't drowned yet. That's how I learned to swim. That weekend of camping was like Ian standing on the side of the pool saying something similar. I haven't drowned yet.
John turns back to the computer. The rain has picked up on the window.
Maybe one more section. I'll try not to ramble. Here goes. 8,000 square feet is a lot of house. You could fit mine inside the thing 4 times and still have room for a pool. My new job is managing several properties our church owns. And when I first signed on, it didn't include renovating this huge historic home. I'm not a general contractor, nor the son of one. Anyone who has seen the smoldering crater that's my wife's 116 square foot kitchen would think this was a terrible idea. Yet, there we were, wrapping up a 4-month project on a Friday, just ahead of schedule. As I crammed all my tools, building supplies, and other rubbish into the back of my minivan, I wished I had a work van. I'd take one of those over a pay raise. Half-used pieces of plywood, scrap copper, a painting of old Ironsides at war. Most of this junk should have just gone straight into the dumpster, but here it was, going home with me instead. I blame the poverty genes.
John's phone dings.
The poverty genes are the reason I'm the only guy at work who takes home leftovers after the weekly staff lunch. These genes were passed down by my grandparents that wouldn't let you leave the table until all was eaten, passed down to them by memories of lean times and tales of potato famines, sharecroppers and coal miners that made it through the hardest of times. If you have a junk drawer in your kitchen, you have some of these genes. It's more advanced stages that turned many an Appalachian front yard into a junkyard, after the garage was filled to the brim with Folgers coffee cans full of stuff to sort someday. It's not the same as being a hoarder. At least, not in every case. For some, it's got more in common with somebody that buys more books than they're ever going to be able to read. Nobody thinks that guy's a weirdo who's going to bring down the neighborhood housing prices down. But then again, I've never seen a front yard overtaken with dilapidated bookshelves, with trees growing up through them. Author Nassim Taleb says that it's a good thing to surround yourself with books, regardless of whether you can read them all or not. Keeps you both humble and motivated. I wonder what he would say about me. I'm surrounded not just by books I may never read, but by projects I may never complete. Is this good for you? A dozen of needed repairs, a backlog of DIY ideas, and a list of honeydews a yard long? I've got plaster-the-knees patching and painting, a shed that needs another wall, a lawnmower held together with copper wire, and a garden of barely green plants. Oh, and the 5 kids I'm supposed to keep clean and presentable with their teeth brushed before they go to bed. Their dentist walks by my field and proclaims, "Thou sluggard."
John's phone dings again. The rain picks up to a downpour.
The poverty genes seem to backfire once you move up and out of poverty. They don't just turn off. When a man's cup runneth over with all God's good blessings, as mine currently is, I'm the idiot running around looking for empty Folgers cans to catch the excess. I think I was raised by masochists. Maybe you don't have to finish everything on your plate.
John yawns. He pushes back his chair as if to get up. He checks his phone.
Finished. The boys are looking for you. We're tired.
Think so. Gotta check the attic first. Hang in there.
John leaves his office and walks over to a door.
There's a slate roof up there over the offices, but over the sanctuary the roof leaks like a sieve. At least it used to. Let's have a look, shall we?
John opens the door and climbs up a dim staircase.
Up here's the sanctuary attic. The roof above was a clapped-out asphalt job, patched and repatched to hang on 20 years past its service life. I just wrapped up an expensive project to replace the whole thing.
Lights come up on dozens of 5-gallon buckets spread out everywhere. The sound of downpour is deafening.
Over 30 buckets up here. Used to have to empty them weekly, especially after a storm like this. I just need to check and see if the money paid off.
John visits every bucket.
You don't need any buckets, do you? These are all dry. Doesn't look like we need them anymore.
John climbs down out of the attic and locks the door. He returns to his office, taking up his rain jacket and keys to leave. He pauses, thinks for a moment, and then sits down at his computer.
I think I've just thought up an ending for my paper. It will sound like it's about rain, but it's not.
John reads aloud as he types.
I collect the buckets. They are no longer needed here. The rain may fall in all its extravagance, doing the work it was sent to do, washing the church in its living water. There is no need to save any for tomorrow. Just let it wash and run down. I'm not drowning. This year, I'm learning the meaning of Sirah.
John stands, tips his coffee cup to the audience.
Thanks for your help.
John grabs his phone and types a message.
Baby names, round 33. Sirah, jail. It's Hebrew for superfluous mountain goat. Thoughts?
John's phone beeps.
Get home now.
On my way. I'll explain later.
John exits. Lights fade. End of play. National Treasure 5, The Treasure Inside Me. Written by Noah Elkins. Directed by Erica Worley. Characters. Ryan, read by Nate Miller. Amy, read by Abigail Alexander. Olivia, read by Jacqueline Louvier. Gunman, read by Jake Hughes. Police Officer, read by Ian Anderson. And Nick Cage, read by Judah Rao. Amy and Ryan shimmy their way through the movie theater aisles as they look for their seats. They speak in whispers because the movie has already started.
I'm on J8. What are you?
I already ate. Thanks, though.
No, Here we are.
Amy and Ryan sit down in their seats. Olivia, who is reclining behind them, pulls her feet off the armrests of Ryan's seat.
I'm so excited for this. You saw the fourth one, right?
Oh, yeah? Can't believe they crossed over with Sharknado.
I guess this one's supposed to have Shia LaBeouf's character from Indiana Jones in it.
Did you really just spoil that for me?
Uh,
I'm kidding. Of course I knew that. By the way, your thoughts on those insane ticket prices?
outrageous.
It's basically theft. By the way, any chance y'all could scoot down just a little bit?
Sure thing. No worries.
Ryan gets up from his seat. Olivia puts her feet back up. Amy remains sitting and crosses her arms.
Thanks, man.
Amy looks at Ryan in shock.
Unbelievable.
What?
Once again, you always do this.
Do what?
When are you going to learn to stand up for yourself?
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Oh, like I just made this up. Like that guy, just yesterday at Fuzzy's Tacos, didn't buy me a drink right in front of you, and what did you do? What did you do? You bought him a drink. You bought him a drink. Who does that?
Olivia pulls her feet back off the seat.
He bought you a drink because a raccoon got loose in the kitchen, so our food was delayed. I bought him a drink as a thank you.
Always an excuse with you.
And he only got you a Dr. Pepper.
One more excuse, and I'm out of here.
Ma'am, it's okay. I put my foot down.
Oh, you're putting your foot down? No, I'm putting my foot down. I'm out of here. I'm not seeing a movie with some dope who can't even stick up for himself.
Amy marches away.
I hate to do this to you, but would you mind filling me in on what's happened?
Sure. Ben, you know Nick Cage is working for the government now. And he just went to an ancient Egyptian tomb to recover this staff thingy. Anyway, he ran into Indiana Jones and Brendan Fraser's character from The Mummy.
The Mummy? But wasn't that set in, like, the 40s?
Oh yeah, but didn't you see the end credits scene in the last movie? They did this time travel thing with Sharknado, which brought the Mummy characters into modern day.
An audience member shushes them. Amy runs back to her seat.
Nope, I'm keeping the popcorn. That's all I have left.
Shh! There's a guy with a gun. He just walked in.
A guy with a gun?
Where?
Amy points to the back of the theater.
Oh no, I think he saw me.
Hey, someone catch me up? What'd I miss?
Gunman waits for an answer.
Oh, y'all afraid of this? I'm not gonna use it. It's just because of those ticket prices. They're unbelievable.
Outrageous.
I know, right? It's theft. And I really wanted to see this movie.
You mind giving him the rundown? I walked in a little late.
Sure, yeah, definitely. So basically, Nick Cage fought Indiana Jones. He works for the government. Nick Cage, not Indiana Jones. Also, they met up with this guy from The Mummy. Brendan Fraser, not Tom Cruise.
Why do you sound so nervous right now?
Why do I sound so nervous? Are you serious? He has a gun.
Oh man, can't believe I missed so much. I'm so angry right now I could just start shooting.
Ryan, Amy, and Olivia laugh nervously at his joke.
Hey man, no need for that. Anyway, what's your favorite national treasure?
Oh, I love the third one. The moon fight with Keanu Reeves was so perfect. But you can't beat the original. My eyes water every time I hear him say, "Grandpa, are we knights?"
Do you want to be?
Don't do that to me, man. I'll start right now.
Hey man, there's an open seat over here. Why don't you come sit with us?
Gunman makes his way to the seat.
Are you befriending this guy right now?
I guess so. He's being way nicer to me than you are.
Gunman sits down next to him. He places his handgun in his lap.
Want some popcorn?
Oh, I'd love some.
As Gunman begins eating popcorn, Ryan looks at the gun.
What are you doing?
Ryan reaches for the gun. Gunman pushes him away.
Hey, man, what the hell?
Yeah, what are you doing, Ryan?
I was starting to think I could trust you. You were just trying to trick me. It's been such a long day, and I just wanted to watch this movie in peace.
Yeah, Ryan, he just wanted to watch his movie in peace. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
You storm out when I offer to move so this lady can put her feet up because you say I can't stand up for myself. But I try to save you from an actual armed gunman and you take his side? I can't win with you.
A gunman? Is that really all I am to you?
Hey, how about the first time you try standing up for yourself? You don't do it when the consequences are literally life and death.
And so now there's more rules that I didn't even know about. Always more rules with you. You're just like your mom.
My mom's dead, and you never met her. What are you even talking about?
So I don't know. I just always hear people say that in arguments. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Well, then don't tell you what to say. Tell our friend here that you're sorry.
Gunman crosses his arms.
I'm sorry.
And ask him if you would like to be friends again.
Could we?
Well, give me the rest of that popcorn and I'll think about it.
Ryan hands him the popcorn.
What were you gonna do if I said no?
Gunman shrugs and brandishes his gun.
I'm just kidding. But we need to talk about you guys. You have the worst communication I've ever seen. Lady, you never seem to be happy with him no matter what he does. You shouldn't just make all your choices to appease people. Even her.
He's right.
He is right. Thank you, Mr. Gunman. You should see movies with us more often.
Hey, I'm here to help.
Gunman begins eating popcorn.
This is a really great movie.
They all watch the screen as the movie comes to a close.
Yeah, now I see, Abigail. Now I understand. The real treasure was inside me all along.
Ryan and Gunman both look at each other and they begin to weep. Amy puts her head in her hands in disappointment. Police officer walks in the theater.
Oh man, they called the cops?
Can you guys believe those ticket prices? Outrageous! Anyway, what did I miss?
End of play.
That's it. That's Incrementum. Thank you for coming. Quick thank you to Ellie Sensing and Ethan for organizing this. Thank you to Tell Us Fire, everyone. We're on for refreshments, and we'll see you in that room. So, coffee and refreshments. Thanks for coming.